Hi friends, this is Carmen. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. My channel is all about succulents and cacti, my balcony garden, and houseplants. Lots of houseplants in my apartment setting. So if that's something that interests you and you want to learn some more about and talk about some planty things, then you're in the right place. And if you want to, hit that subscribe button down below there so you don't miss any of my videos. And if this video brings you value, you enjoy it, please do consider giving it a like and giving it a thumbs up. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite collections, and it's a growing collection, and that's Kalanchoe. Now I know some people will say Kalanchoe. I've always said Kalanchoe. I think it differs from different parts of the United States, different countries. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call it what I've always called it, Kalanchoe. And I've got 7 different Kalanchoes with me here. And I'm always looking for the next one. So let's get to it and I'll show you what I have. Thanks so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. Members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a growing community of creatives. Skillshare believes a strong community is essential to personal growth. Tap into the support of fellow creatives who provide encouragement, communication, and inspiration. Most classes are under 60 minutes with short lessons to fit any schedule. You can pause and pick up the class again at any time. Most frequently, I've been taking a class by Lotus Carroll called Fundamentals of Lightroom 1. This class is teaching me how to organize and edit the photos I've been taking lately of birds and nature all around me. Skillshare has also inspired me to create my own class. You can also watch my Houseplants for Beginners class. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Afterwards, it's less than $10 per month. So take advantage of this great offer and witness your own transformation as you turn small steps into giant leaps. So all of these Kalanchoes do live outside on the balcony. As usual, let's start off with the smallest one. And this here is a Kalanchoe luciae, and it's a paddle plant. And this one, it's actually growing a little baby down in there. And it does get a beautiful stress color when the sun hits it. This one is on the shelf where it gets some morning light, but not a whole lot. So it doesn't have quite the stress on it. And I may move it to give it a little bit. I mean, you can kind of see some of the tinge on here to that it gets from the morning light, but it's growing. It's got a baby growing down there, and it's got leaves growing on the inside, so that's nice. And these paddle plants can get really big. Now, one of the things about Kalanchoe is that many of the species are what we call monocarpic, meaning they bloom once and then they die. Mono one carpic, blooming or flowering. So paddle plant is that type of plant. It'll grow a nice long stalk with a nice bushy flowering on it. And then that main mother plant will die. But what the mother plant does in the meantime before it flowers is it gives off many babies. So you'll notice when you do have a blooming one, you'll also have a lot of babies around it, that when that mother plant does finish blooming and does die off, you'll be able to propagate, take off those babies and plant them up in another pot or all together. So that's something that, you know, you should know about lot of these Kalanchoes, not all of them do that, but a good amount of them do, kind of like yuccas. Yuccas are monocarpic. The main plant dies off, but you'll notice that it has a lot of pups around it too. So that's something really cool. I don't suspect this one is going to be blooming anytime soon. It's very juvenile still, but it is giving off some babies down there at the bottom. So that is the paddle plant. Now another one that gives off a lot of babies is this mother of thousands. And this Kalanchoe, you can see all the little plantlets there. And I noticed that it is kind of stretching a little bit. When I first got it, it was more open, but it wasn't giving off plantlets then. So I'm not sure if it's doing that because it is giving off plantlets. But otherwise it looks fine. I mean, it does have some nice sun stress here, and it's giving off the little plantlets. Now these, and there is one that's fallen off. I don't know if you can see it down there in the soil. So when it falls, the little plantlets fall off, they will root there, and that's how they propagate themselves. They're kind of self-seeding. You know, some flowers are self-seeding. Well, these are self-propagating basically. And this one does bloom the same. It's monocarpic. When the main mother plant blooms, it will die off, but in the meantime it's given off a lot of plantlets. A lot of babies have fallen off and propagating themselves. So, but it does take a long time for it to bloom, for it to get mature and bloom. Again, this is a juvenile one also, so that's something really cool about that. Now another one that gives off plantlets that have a new and an old one of is this pink butterfly, Kalanchoe pink butterfly. And these scraggly guys here are from my old one, original one that I've had for about 3 years, and some of it's died off and some of it's, you know, lost a lot of leaves. And I recently purchased a smaller one so I can kind of put them together, fill them up, and you know, kind of make it a little bit bushier, which it is doing. And kind of, you can kind of see on top there, it is giving off little pink flowers or plantlets. Now, something that I have read about this Kalanchoe pink butterflies, it is a hybrid, and I had read that the little plantlets, when they fall off, they don't propagate themselves as much as the mother of thousands will, because I believe it's because of it being a hybrid. And I have found that to be true in all the time that I've had these here. You know, they've fallen off, and I haven't really noticed that they ever did propagate themselves. So that's something that's kind of unusual about them. But I'm hoping that this one will grow. These are growing nice and tall, and there's another one growing in the center there. So it's filling up really nicely there. And hopefully it'll catch up to these other guys here that are long and lanky there. So, and get a little bit more sun stress. I know the coloring's a little bit different. But Kalanchoe pink butterflies is one that's really beautiful. And when it does have the full plantlets on all the leaves, it's really striking, the pink color of them. It's still early days for them as far as getting their plantlets. Here in the spring and the summer, they will start continuing to get those. Beautiful plant. Okay, moving on to another type of Kalanchoe. This here is a Kalanchoe Beharensis. And this is just a little baby one. These can grow really, really big. I've seen pictures of them that are really big. And on one trip that I took to San Diego one time, I saw huge ones. You know, in San Diego, you can grow just about anything. The weather, the climate there is just so wonderful. And this was in, if you know San Diego, Old Town San Diego, that area there, it has a lot of succulents. and cacti growing around that area. Well, they have this huge Beharensis growing there. It was just gorgeous. It can grow almost as like a tree. Now this one was a clearance save. It was in clearance and it wasn't looking well at all, but you know, it was like $1. I figured, well, let me try and save it. When I got it home and I took a closer look at it, the roots were rotting, but the top portion of the plant was salvageable. So what I did was I cut the top stalk, which actually has this stem growing off of this one, and I put it in soil. I let it callus. I put it in soil and I didn't water it for a while, and after about a couple of weeks I did start watering it, and now it's rooted and it's been growing. That was probably about 4 months ago, 5 months ago maybe, that I did that. And now it's growing, doing beautifully, and it is out. Like I said, all of these are out on the balcony. These all get morning sun, some more than others depending upon where I have them placed. The closer to the wall of the balcony, they get more sun. And then towards midday, just before noon, they are covered by the large umbrella that I have out there, and the rest of the day is just from the building as the sun moves across the building, because I'm east facing. So they get just enough sun to give them new growth, to give them a little bit of sun stress, and you know, they're doing wonderfully. So this Beharensis came back from beyond, almost died, but as you can see, they can be propagated from cuttings, from stem cuttings. You just have to do what you would normally do with a Echeveria or something like that. Let that stalk, that cutting, callus over, and then put it in some dry soil. Let it sit there. I don't water them for at least 10 to 14 days, and then I start watering them, and it's very fast, chunky, free draining soil that I have them in. And this one's doing beautifully. So that is the Kalanchoe Beharensis. Now a cousin of that is a Beharensis, and it's called, oh, this is heavy and kind of wonky, is called Fang. I think I've shared Fang with you before. Fang has a story to tell. Fang was nice and straight like this, and you know, then it wasn't, and it was thinking of dying, and then it changed its mind and started growing up. Well, now Fang has become a kind of draping plant that's kind of growing up. So I have this on the top shelf of my shelf unit out there, and because I have nowhere else to put it, I kept bumping into it, you know, when I had it further below, or it was just taking up so much room. So that's why it's up there. And I've noticed this spring that this stalk here that I thought was not going to do anything is giving off little leaves. And I don't know if I've mentioned, but Fang is called Fang because of the little bumps underneath the leaves that you can feel, that feel like little fangs. And these grow very big also, because they're part of that Beharensis family, and they can grow very big. So I don't know how long I'm going to keep Fang growing in this way. It's giving off some aerial roots here. I even have a rock here to hold down the root ball, because it is heavy on this side, to hold that down in there. And it does have one pop out over here, so I'm hoping that more will pop out over here, and this one will grow and kind of even itself out a little bit. But I'm hesitant to cut it because it has such a unique look about them. You know, the character of them is so unique. So I'm hesitant to cut him, and we'll just see how he grows. I'm going to let him do his thing. But this Beharensis Fang is really unique. And these can be found in big box stores. They're really unique and easy plants to take care of, and they can be found in big box stores easily. Basically all of these I found in big box stores or local nurseries. So Kalanchoe is a genus that you can easily find. And right now in the summertime, since all of these are outside, we're getting into, I mean, like today it's going to be like 97, you know, and by the end of the week, Memorial Day, we're going to be 100, 101. So now I am watering once a week. And I water once the sun has gone over. I usually water towards the evening because in my mind, I don't like to water when the sun is hitting the plants out there directly for a couple of reasons. One, if, say for instance, this paddle plant, if I were to get water right on the leaves here and the sun hits it, it's almost like a reflector or magnifying glass. You know, it will basically burn it. The other reason is that I don't like the roots to be sitting in hot water when the sun is hitting this and it's water in there. It's almost like it's too hot for the roots, you know. I don't want to boil them. So I tend to water them in the summertime, in the evenings, like around 6 o'clock. The other reason too is because it's cooler for me to be out there, but it's those other two reasons that I mentioned also. So they have the night, the temperatures drop some, you know, down into the upper 70s or so, and they soak up that water. So now in the winter time, when the temperatures here get in the lower 40s, sometimes in the 30s, I will water in the morning time because the sun is very, very mild, and there's no chance of that type of damage happening to the leaves or the roots, and it's nice for me to be out there in the morning time. So in the winter time, I do water them in the morning. So that's just for me for the Southwest region here, something for you to keep in mind in your area and where you have them. You can keep these plants inside. They do need a very bright south, east, or west facing window. North windows is going to be tough for them because they do need bright light, and some dappled sun would be great. Some morning sun on them would be wonderful. Direct sun, like a west facing window in the afternoon, and if it's very hot and direct sun, it's going to be harsh for them. Just because they're succulents, they can burn, so keep that in mind. Okay, moving on to the last two. This here is my Kalanchoe copper spoons, and I just love this because of, you know, copper. I mean, that's not a color you normally see in leaves. So for this plant to have copper colored leaves is just so unique. And then the back side of it is this nice ashy gray green color, and this one is growing beautifully. It's got some new growth happening right here, and also right here, and it's doing wonderful. Lots of new little leaves coming in there. This one did get a little damage on this leaf from the sun, little crispiness on the edge that I took off there, so got to keep an eye on that. I just transplanted this one. This one was in a plastic pot. I just put it into this terracotta pot, and it's because I needed a little bit more room, and it's doing beautifully. Absolutely beautiful. Now, recently I did get its cousin, the silver spoons. Kind of the same shape, maybe a little bit more rounded, but this one is silver color. And this one, I didn't know that these have little tiny blooms. Let me see if I can find it. I'll show you a picture here of when it was fully open, but I do have the little pieces right here left of the flowers, but they were little tiny orange tubular flowers, and I didn't know that they flowered that way. The copper one has not flowered for me. This one just did. And this one I repotted recently because I bought it and it was in a very compact, or compressed soil. It hadn't been watered in a while, and the soil had compressed so much that I found it difficult to water. The water was just going right through. It was too fast, not enough for the soils to pick up water and nutrients to keep it going. So took it out of that nursery pot, took all that really hard soil off of it, and put it into this beautiful terracotta pot with some fresh soil, some nutrients, and it didn't miss a beat. You know, it's just loving life. So Kalanchoe, a genus of succulents that is really super easy to take care of, does wonderful out on balconies, can be kept inside in sunny, bright windows, and you know, doesn't need a whole lot of fussing with it or a whole lot of water for sure. So be careful on that. But it's a genus that I'm definitely going to be looking for some more of. But either way, I love them. Now, if you love collections like this, I do have some collections that I'm going to put up here for you of my snake plants, my sansevierias, and also my aloes. So you can check out those collections that are also very easy to take care of. Thanks so much, friends. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a blessed day, friends. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.